On the list of things to talk about, we have Intel and AMD sold the same amount of GPUs, which is wild to think about. Intel just getting into the market of GPUs. And to be fair, so NVIDIA sells 82% of current GPUs. AMD and Intel do 9% each, combining for that 18%, which is wild to think about that in under a year, Intel managed to grab 9% of dedicated desktop graphics sales, which is quite wild. So that said, they also have only targeted lower end budget cards. And hopefully that this will do is make Intel and AMD keep having to raise the game in the budget market, which hopefully will bump them to be able to compete with Nvidia on the high end as well. And the big news about this is it means that Arc and Intel wasn't not a flop. Some of the reviews and channels out there made it seem like it wasn't as great as people were hoping. But I think this shows that from a consumer standpoint, it must be. The reviews must have been good enough, and their friends must have said it was good enough for at least 1080p gaming on budget cards. So the big deal here is basically that AMD can't ignore Intel. Nvidia is going to keep doing Nvidia things, but AMD can't. AMD is now basically in this weird sandwich of not only do they not have the low end locked in anymore, but they also don't have the high end because Nvidia's always had the high end. So now all of a sudden AMD's in this weird flux position where hopefully that means we're going to see a ton of innovation from them specifically. Hopefully Intel does too. Nvidia again does Nvidia things, so let's not put any hope in that bucket. But yeah, I think this is great. I think one of the discussion questions is basically how will competition and what innovations and advancements do you expect to see of this? I think this is great for competition. We were hoping that Intel would be able to make a splash like this, and it seems like they have, at least on the budget side, which was their goal. So you can't complain with that. Yes, 9% is a low amount, but 9% in under a year is actually pretty spectacular. So what other features do you think Intel Arc would need to have in order to compete with established players? Well, I think what we're seeing here is they are competing with at least AMD on the budget end. And I think like AV1 encoding is a great way for them to have stepped up and just kind of gone above and beyond. What I would like to see is hopefully in the next couple of years, they release something that at least hits the middle high end. I don't think they'll be able to hit the high end, but middle high end where it does force, maybe your $600 to $800 graphics card tiers to get much more competitive instead of just, $300 ish. But you just really can't complain. I don't know what other features they'd have to order. Really, what they got to do is just figure out, getting that higher FPS, getting, more cores, whatever they need to do to get that up there. Which some of the firmware updates have done that, where they've gotten massive gains just by, rewriting code and making it more efficient. So hopefully that continues and we can see that, rapidly expand in the next few years here.